this is IBM Museum. And I went through and found a couple more zip drives that I have, and all these that I located. I knew I had them somewhere. They're the IDE models, and I thought, hey, something great to do to go through and to test them at least, make sure that they're functional. And I even had one that was new in box. It wasn't sealed with the cellophane on the outside. I'd probably opened it at one point, but I'm going to go through and I'll get turned around and just kind of show what I'm looking over. I'm going to go through and get the webcam view of me out of the way, just so I know that I have the full field of view for my camcorder. And I've got the 7588 opened up. And the one thing that was always odd for me, and this is the way I received this machine, is these beige drives. The beige zip drive, and that's that IDE model, and then the beige diskette drive. And it's even funny that I have another of the 7588s, same case, only I say the same case, but it's actually the industrial gray, the IBM industrial gray case, and the drives on it has a CD-ROM and a diskette drive, and they're actually black for those drives on the gray case. And so it's kind of like I I have them mixed around in a way. I wanted to go through and get a little bit more color coordinated with these drives. They blend a little bit more with the black. And I finally do have a chance to do that. What I'll do is I'll show that. And of course, this is the unit that was in there. I went through and I looked at the settings. I'll probably show the back. I've got it disconnected right now um, to show that this is set as a master drive on those on the IDE channel from that single board PIC-MG single board computer that's in there on this backplane. And of course, I had to move the hard drive assembly that sits on top here back out of the way um, to be able to access cables. Now this is, and of course, I spill all the documentation and disk for this are nestled in. Yeah, just boxes and stuff going all over the place for me. Okay, so it's got the CDs. Even some of this is unopened um, for the packs, warranty services. There's that iOmegaware, and I'll have to check the versions I have because, and of course, you can find this stuff online. But just to see what vintage this stuff is, see how it compares to the other. And this even has it says a Linux version, Mac version, and PC version, multi-language. And so that might be worth checking out, just a comparison of what other stuff I have and what exists for the online versions. And the drive is here. It's on the same sort of chassis as that is. And then you've got the IDE cable included, just straight, and even has a label on it there. And then it has screws, and it has the jumper in its bag. It doesn't even have that on the drive. And of course, what we need for this, I'll go through and unbag that anti-static seal. And then here is the back of the drive. And you have the power, of course, IDE connection, and then you have the jumper block here in that 2x3 arrangement. I'm going to tone down that ring light just a bit so I don't get as much of a reflection there. Now, in this case, this drive is set up to be the master on that IDE chain. And I'm just going to go through. This is the new drive. And what I need to do on these as well, and I can probably get a playlist for the zip drives. And Retro Tech Chris has a real good video that I can probably link at some point to talk about the more of the settings and things like that. The but these things are so handy for removable drives. And okay, let's go through. Let's get the unit powered up here. And I'm not doing any screen capture at this point. I just got it to where the I've got it on that back screen, and I'm trying to use this more and more, this back screen, to at least display some static content or something else as I do my videos, maybe relating to what the video is about. Okay, and it did recognize it there as the zip 100. Okay, and went through and recognized it just to go through. And as far as I know, the first disc, since this thing was sealed up at the factory, to go through. One of the things I said is, at some point I need to get from like a Windows 95 or Windows 98. I think Windows 98 is about the a good level. Steve Gibson Research has a checking utility from Windows, and it's now been ported, I think, to, I'm trying to remember if it's been ported to like, I don't think the Mac side, but I think it was ported to some other system here recently. I saw the Hackaday article on it, but the Gibson Research program that Steve Gibson wrote goes through and checks these to make sure that they're not susceptible to the so-called click of death. That's one, or that's can be the biggest issue with these drives. And I got that disc. This is one of those formatted discs that just has the read this text from iOmega, and it reads everything to this disk. So this drive, of course, new out of the box, is perfectly functional. And I've gone through earlier. I didn't test this drive out, but I checked out some earlier drives, and even this one had me worried a little bit, because that didn't even come up with I've got my alcohol wipes, and that didn't come off. I don't know what exactly. It's more like a rubberized or something. I'm not sure exactly what that is. And it worried me because this is kind of a drop. This is a splash, and it's on this tab, and even goes to having, that could have landed on the inside. And I don't think it I don't know when that happened or anything else, but this drive tested out perfectly functional. Now, and these are this is marked as the 100, Z100 ATAPI. So that's the, 100 megabyte, uses these Zip 100 disks. These are still available out there. You can find them new. I went through and also did test this unit. These are the 3 drives I had tucked away. The one that has that droplet on it, the one that was the new in box, and then this model with and it's not an absolute black faceplate, but at least it's got the kind of the darker colored. And this is you can see that that's a little bit different. Still marks the same jumper settings and things like that. Let me get where's a good view of okay, I guess it has that kind of on the side here. So this is the model Z250 ATAPI. And so this is the 250 megabyte version. More capacity, of course, than the 100 megabyte version. And you could read the 100 megabyte disk with these units. I mean, it goes through and is able to read that lower capacity and then the 250 megabyte disk. And I don't have any of the 250 megabyte, but I just thought it would be nice just for this being a higher end unit. In addition to it being black, I can put it on the 7588. So I'm going to go through. I'm going to, if I were fancy, I could do some time lapse or something else like that to go through and put that on there. But I think I'm just going to pause the video and I'll be back once I get this assembly a little bit more complete and back together. Okay, and just to pause as I'm mid installation here, and IBM supplies, and I have more of these. I actually should look through it to see if there's any that are different. Has these rubber things that go around the outside of the drive assembly there, and it just basically does a seal mainly for the air that could be pulled in, and pulling in dust with that. And because the front of this unit, that's where the inlet fan is, and it has a filter on it. And these are just a little bit different. For the beige, it doesn't have kind of a little, this black unit has a little bit more there at the top for where it is, and then you can kind of see where it's just beveled a little bit differently. And that's the funny thing, is on the bottom edge of that, there's less material, and I can still use this seal, but I had to look and just to make sure that if there's one that maybe fits a little bit better, because this is it fits in very good at the bottom there, but at the top, not so well. And I think I can get it to where, yeah, bottom does perfect. And I don't know. I want to go through. I have the means. So I'm going to pause the video again, and I'll kind of show what I'm thinking of here. Okay, I have these razor saws, and so what I did was go through and just basically cut that edge off the top to make it a little bit look a little bit more like the beige adapter has. And I have a file here, and I'll just probably, I don't have to touch it up much. And I did this freehand. I didn't really, it's good that I didn't go through and really damage any visible pieces. There's just a couple nicks upon the edges that will be hidden with that rubber piece. And I'm not compromising the bay adapter at all. It just has that plastic edge there, and that's probably more along the lines of other systems that it would fit a little bit more appropriately. And this should go over. It's still okay. There is a real good fit. Those corners. Let's see if I can get this last corner in there. And I guess I could, for just the absolute best fit, I could take off more material along those edges, because it does have an edge that it kind of fits up against there. And I'm going to see if this is good enough. It's still on that top edge. Maybe just that back edge. I'll go through and can look at the fit on that, because the bottom, it does a real good. That's great. But on the other top portion that I cut away, I could probably file down a little bit more. So I am finally forced to use some video editing software again to append this segment onto the other video, because my new wireless headset worked fully well. I went through and I to working with the machine, I actually raised the boom of the microphone, and I didn't hear any notification, or I just ignored it, that the microphone was muted. So when I continued back in to close everything up as it is now, I even captured the video of it booting and recognizing that 250 megabyte zip drive. And I'll have to go through and replace that portion of the video with this segment having audio. And I should have done a deeper check, but I was turned away from the recording computer. Just wasn't aware of that simple thing of that microphone, and that was working exactly as it's planned because you raise the boom on this and it mutes the mic. So as you can see, everything's sealed up. It went through and booted. I do have the ability to read those 100 megabyte zip disk. If I had 250 megabyte disks, I could go through and I could read them on this, but not any of my 100 megabyte units. So just kind of wrapping it up. I'll have to see how long it takes me to edit those two segments together, and I can get this uploaded. But if you enjoyed this content, click on that like button. You enjoy me finally having to use video editing software. I normally just go through and pause the videos and kick them out without editing, but I can fire up the DaVinci Resolve and and concatenate those two sections together and keep up my skills with the video editing software. So, gosh, but that's all I have for now. This is IBM Museum. Thank you.